Good evening, Tallahassee. We have made it to Friday here at FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Sloan Haynes.
And I'm student meteorologist Dylan Leaf. It's been another hot day, and we're going to continue to see this trend of hot days coming through. Unfortunately, summer is sticking around just a little bit longer.
We do have some rain chances coming into our picture a bit, which is really nice since we really haven't had that relief in a while from the heat.
Yeah, and we're below average on our rainfall for this time of year, so some rain is definitely necessary for the crops and some grass. It seems like every time throughout the school year we get to this October, September, where we see a drought of rain, and it's really noticeable on Landis for some students where you see some dead grass for a little bit.
I know I said it the other night, but Tyler was so excited when he saw clouds the other day, offering him some relief from the heat. He was ecstatic. I think that was his main conversation topic for the entire show this past week. But it's true, we've needed some clouds.
Yeah, the clouds bring some relief in terms of temperature, not beating down on the sun. Helps a little bit with some UV radiation as well, blocking a little bit of that. But again, hot conditions. We don't have a home football game this weekend, which is kind of nice because the weather isn't great for it, but not too bad.
Throughout the show, we will be discussing Tropical Depression 9, which
Yep.
just was upgraded.
Yep, they found a center of circulation. Winds still below 39 miles per hour, keeping it below that tropical storm force condition, but is expected to strengthen as the day goes on.
And it can have some effects on Florida that we're trying to look out for right now, but we're going to see what happens with that over the next few days, and we're going to send things over to Zach at the wall for your overview.
Thanks, guys. We're going to take a quick look at the Tallahassee forecast right here. Right now, we're sitting at 91 degrees, so fairly comfortable for this time of year. Partly cloudy. We have our dope camera in the background here. We're seeing some of those clouds just sort of lingering around behind me here. And our radar isn't showing too much going on. We don't have a lot to talk about here in Tallahassee. Been staying pretty dry for the past several days, actually. We did have a little bit of shower activity around the Cross City area and Gainesville, but as far as our region here in Tallahassee, not much to talk about rain-wise. And here's our southeast. We do see a cold front lingering across the area that's going to be pushing through the area over the next few days. And we do have some severe weather hanging out in South Carolina, North Carolina, that area where the orange does represent severe thunderstorm warnings in those areas. And for our next couple of days, we're going to see rain chances start to pick up here in Tallahassee, 30% on Saturday. Our Sunday is going to be 40%. Then we're going to be staying in those low 90s for highs, pretty comfortable. And for the rest of the show, we're going to look at the rain chances picking up. We're going to take a look at sports, and we're going to talk about Tropical Depression 9. Let's pass things off to Tyler.
Thanks, Zach. We're going to talk about the southeast next. Some parts very dry, some parts very moist right now. Florida, Orlando is 85 degrees right now, so is Jacksonville. They got cooled down a little bit by the rain today. Charlotte, all the way down to 78 degrees. In the more interior parts of the southeast, haven't really seen the rain, so fairly sunny and hot there. Montgomery at 97 degrees, Jackson at 97, Shreveport all the way up to 99. And here you can see in the interior parts, those dew points are a little bit lower, so not quite as moist. But as we get into Florida, a lot of moisture in the air, and also in North Carolina as well. Our heat indices shows some places getting over 100 degrees right now. Shreveport at 101, Montgomery also at 101 degrees, and then Jacksonville at 90. Once again, cooled off from that rain. Same with Charleston and Charlotte. Charlotte feeling great right now. As long as you don't have lightning in the area, very cooled down, very nice outside. Most of our winds in the southeast are being dominated by a strong eastern wind. Orlando having winds at 23 miles per hour right now. As we get more towards the west, those winds aren't quite as strong. It's because all the winds are really dominated from the east. As they start to move westward, start to weaken a little bit. Right now we have a cold front going through Arkansas, parts of Tennessee, even into Kentucky, bringing some rain for those regions ahead of the front. And then getting into South Carolina and North Carolina, we actually see a severe thunderstorm warning in South Carolina as we see some rain bands start to move through. And then through Central and South Florida, also some scattered rain as well. Our storm outlook shows just some chances for some thunderstorms, not quite so severe in nature in Florida and through parts of much of the southeast. Really, the main risks are going to be in South Carolina and North Carolina. They have a 1 out of 5 risk of seeing a severe thunderstorm this evening. Our moisture forecast really shows where that cold front's moving, leaving a lot of dry air behind it up here towards Nashville and Kentucky. And then right here we can see Tropical Depression 9 bringing a lot of moisture to Florida, even though it doesn't seem to be forecasted to make direct landfall at the moment. over the next 24 hours, going to continue to see scattered rain over Florida during those afternoon and evening hours, as well as South Carolina and North Carolina. Not quite as much rain to our west, though, in Louisiana and Arkansas. Really not Mississippi either. For tonight, going to be in the mid to lower 70s for most regions, although New Orleans getting up to 79 and Miami getting up to 80 degrees for tonight. And then for tomorrow's forecast, Tallahassee going to be at 94 degrees, Orlando at 87. Large parts of the eastern portion of the southeast are going to get a lot of rain, and then our western portions going to be a little bit hotter. Shreveport at 98 and Jackson at 96. New Orleans going to have a high of 93 tomorrow. But now I'm going to pass things off to Sloan. She's going to give us our first local look of the evening.
Thanks, Tyler. As Dylan and I said earlier, it's been feeling hot outside. If we take a look at our almanac right now, we hit that high of 95 today, which is above average since we're normally around 89. Our low was also higher than average at 74, closer to the record temperature with the high, about 4 degrees off, but it still felt very warm here in Tallahassee. Currently, though, 91 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Those clouds are coming and going. We're going to see that over the next few days. We saw this earlier this week, too, as we head into the evening hours as clouds started to roll through the area. Temperature-wise, for the Big Bend, 91 in Tallahassee. Again, still pretty warm down there by the coastline, 89 in St. Mark's, Carabel, and Apalachicola. 90 up in Georgia, Thomasville, and then 89 in Valdosta, then 88 in Perry. Those dew points are a bit muggy feeling still for this time of year, so that's why you might feel a little sticky walking to class today, with the Gulf having the highest dew points on the map in the 70s, with Carabel being the exception at 69, and then Tallahassee at 67 and Thomasville 64. When we get those high temperatures and those higher dew points, we get what it feels like outside. It's why it feels hotter. So our heat index, we can see that we felt like 94 in Tallahassee right now, which is pretty close to our normal temperature for us. 94 in St. Mark's, 95 in Apalachicola, 94 in Quincy, and 91 in Valdosta right here. So again, with these high heat indexes, we want to remind you to stay hydrated, have that water bottle on hand. The sun's going to be out, wear sunscreen, as those UV index will be very high still. Wind speeds for the most part are blowing offshore. We don't have any Gulf moisture coming onshore right now. Pretty variable winds throughout the Big Bend. Not a lot happening on satellite radar other than a few pop-up showers here and there and some activity down there in the Gulf, but the clouds are the biggest story for us. As I mentioned earlier, heading into the evening hours, you're going to see those clouds come and go, which we see right now. Clearing up a bit into Saturday. Some clouds are going to make its way back into the picture. Beautiful morning still, those clear skies in sight, and then by tomorrow morning when people will actually be waking up, clouds, a few pop-up showers here and there, but not too much. It would be a good idea to keep that umbrella on hand, especially if you're along the Gulf. We saw those showers roll through a bit, but a perfect start to your day. For tonight, 70s is the theme, which we've been seeing all week again. 70 in Monticello, 72 in Tallahassee, 74 in Carabel, Bainbridge at 70. But for tomorrow, fairly warm still in the mid-90s, 94 in Tallahassee, 91 in Carabel again, 93 in Bainbridge. Taking a look at the next 7 days, still warm, still in the upper 90s. Not a hot coffee type of mood yet. Maybe an iced coffee with some milk is in your forecast over the next 7 days. But I'm going to pass things off to the desk with Michael and Evan.
Yep.
Here on the desk,
There we are.
Anyways, we're going to talk about Tropical Depression 9, which is right now out in the Caribbean Sea, and is posing definitely a threat to some of the nations down there.
Yeah, earlier in the week, we thought the system might have gone to the Gulf, but again, it didn't have a close circulation, so we didn't really know where the actual center of the system was really going, and that's really what the models were struggling with.
As I said earlier, the models were struggling with really getting to where, where these storm is going to go just in general. Some predicted going off in the Gulf of Mexico, some had it going where it's going now, which is predicted track.
Yeah, and the center really consolidated on the north side of that tropical wave. And with that happening, the track is now going off to Atlantic, and the track, I'm going to emphasize the track, is very similar to Dorian up to around Charleston. Mm-hmm. And then we're expecting that high pressure to build in, and that might actually curve it off towards Bermuda as we go later down the road.
Absolutely honest. And it's really astonishing. I'm always astonished with these kind of systems, how they almost take like a 90-degree turn way out to the right, really. And honestly, that certainty in track has really decreased our rain chances later this weekend. It used to be a lot greater early in the week, but now we're seeing it start to simmer down at least a little bit.
Yeah, and the reason why our rain chances are lower is with those tropical systems, you have that counterclockwise flow. Since we're on that western side now, it's that drier northeasterly and northerly flow. You don't get the moisture coming out the Gulf, and therefore you can't get any rain chances usually. And it's basically like Dorian, where you have that northwest wind and northeast wind as well. And that gives you drier air, hotter temperatures as well. And we definitely do need the rain. We don't need too much of it, but we need some rain to get that deficit going down.
And Zach's going to say that on the desk for us, or on the wall for us right now. What you got for us, Zach?
We're going to take a quick look out at our national forecast for a little bit. So we're going to start with our national highs and lows. So waking up this morning, our national low, Harbison Meadow, Colorado, all the way down at 19 degrees to wrap out the summer. That's pretty cold there. And as usual, we always see a hot spot in Death Valley reaching 108, and that is actually the high from yesterday because most of the country has not had their their high temperatures at this time yet. They're still sort of coming in. And the hot spot on the national map right now, Phoenix sitting at 106 degrees out there. More here locally, a little bit cooler, 91 in Tallahassee, down in Miami, 81 in Washington, D.C., 72, Detroit, 72, so some 70s, even a 60 on the map over there in Boston. And dew points, we do see that we do have that drier air over here around Phoenix. That's expected in the desert area. And of course, we always do have moisture coming off the Gulf. So we do see that darker color where there's a higher dew point, 74 dew point in Miami, 67 in Tallahassee. And for our wind speeds and directions, we're seeing winds sort of push all over the place, but we do see that we will see in the map that we do have a front here, so we do have some wind directions as a result of that front that is moving through the southeast. We also do have some breezy conditions around New Orleans and Tallahassee as well. And here's that front that I was discussing. We do have the low pressure system, and it's going to sort of start to push its way through over the next few days, so we may see some effects of that front pushing through the southeast, maybe even some effects into Florida over the next couple of days. So we're going to take a look at some of where our severe weather is. We do have some severe weather in the Detroit area around Michigan, Ohio, Cincinnati, looking at potential severe weather. So the Detroit area is looking at a slight risk of thunderstorms over the next couple of hours there. And as we can see, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in the area. We did have severe thunderstorms warning in that area earlier, but they have since expired, and we can start to see that band of showers start to push through. So that Detroit area is expecting a lot of heavy thunderstorms over the next couple of hours. And for our airport, we have clear conditions here in Tallahassee, 91 degrees here, so we're not really expecting any delays in the southeast for the most part. And as we can see, no delays really across most of the region in general. So if you're traveling this weekend, nothing to really worry about there. The next 24 hours, we can see this shower activity start to push off out of the Michigan, Ohio area, and that's just going to continue to linger around, push up more towards Boston over the next couple of hours, and they're going to be expecting some rain. And for tonight, we're expecting partly cloudy skies here in Tallahassee, 72 degrees, but more out towards the west coast, they're expecting clear conditions, very comfortable temperatures. Los Angeles, 68 degrees, 59 degrees in San Francisco. Cloudy across most of the southeast, but as that front moves through, well, we're going to be expecting clearer conditions over the next few days. And for tomorrow, here in Tallahassee, we're going to see a high of 94 down here. New Orleans seeing pretty similar temperatures. Atlanta's going to start to see a little bit of those showers. And as always, Phoenix this time of year, they're hitting triple digits. 105 degrees expected for tomorrow there. And we're going to be seeing a little bit cooler out towards the western coast. And now we're going to start to look at the local now that we've been done talking about the national, and Evan's going to be touring us through that.
Thank you very much, Zach. And it has been a beautiful day here today in our area. If you got to walk nice out early this morning, then it was only 74 degrees, as will come up here in a second. But I hope you got a chance to have a nice walk there, personally, before it got nice and muggy out here at 92 degrees, really, and especially even 92 degrees up to 5 p.m. here today for our area. Very rugged here today. Really no rainfall in our area. Yearly, we have 30.37 so far today, and even our month in general, we notice have been very dry in our area, and it's been really nice with those calm, and really haven't had to take the umbrella out anywhere really to class for any of that. A big breeze in our area, 16 miles an hour. I know that felt nice for me to get calmed down from a lot of the heat in our area. It's also 91 degrees in our area and partly cloudy skies, so you can see not too much. Our temperatures fairly even across the region, hanging out at 91 in Tallahassee, 90 in Monticello, and 90 up in Thomasville. Fairly cool and pretty much the same even all along the coast around Carabel, hitting at 89 degrees. We see that's southern winds starting to pick up from the Gulf still, with the humidity really picking up around Carabel and Apalachicola down in near the coast area, which has gotten a lot of humidity around the area. Around 71 is the dew point down Carabel, and you see a little more up coast at 64 in Thomasville, which has been a little bit less humidity in that area, but nevertheless, it has still been hot all across the area. The heat index is 93 for Perry, 91 even for Valdosta, which is really the smallest temperature mark on our radar. So that has been really surprising for our area, and it's been always very hot and very humid in the area. 16 degrees has been that big breeze in our area on top of the hill, really for us. A little towards the coast, we're still getting a little bit of a slight breeze with St. Mark's and Carabel at 5 and 4 miles per hour winds, heading to the west side of our direction, easterly winds. As you can see on our radar, we do have this cloud cover that is coming up from the southeasterly direction. A little bit of showers really down into off the coast, but that shouldn't pose much of a potential of rain for us here tonight. So look at our big picture. This is the front that's going to be coming into our area really a bit shortly. It's mainly affecting a lot of the Midwest. You can see we've had those severe thunderstorm watch up in Ohio and those kind of areas. Look for our marine pass. It's been 89 degrees, 20 knots. Make sure you be careful with those winds being choppy. And looking at the rest of our area, we're going to remain in the 90 degrees. Shouldn't cool down too much in our area. Maybe a shot chance of a shower, 40% on Sunday. Is looking, what are we looking at our estimate here with hurricane hunters? I bet they're very busy.
Yeah, we were talking about potential tropical cyclone 9, which actually got upgraded to tropical depression 9 as we at 5 o'clock, and the reason that happened is thankfully from the hurricane hunters.
Right, so there's two different organizations that help collect data to understand the current conditions of these tropical cyclones, the Air Force and NOAA themselves, and here are two of their planes.
Yeah, so we have the three types of planes. We first had that Lockheed WC-130J, which is the Air Force ones, and they're actually nicknamed Miss Piggy and Kermit. From the Muppets.
The NOAA ones are the Miss Piggy and Kermit.
Yeah, the NOAA ones.
Right,
yep.
so you see the bigger one in the back there, that's the P3. Sometimes it has a radar dish on the bottom attached to it to allow us more data coverage and see just a little bit more intricacies with it.
Yeah, and then what you see right here on the screen right now, that's actually a dropson, and you can see it's like a little tube, and it contains all those temperature, dew point, wind, speed, everything. Has those instruments inside the dropson to measure that.
Yeah, and they drop it, unfortunately, over water, so no one's affected by hitting it. It has a little parachute to kind of stop it. And here's just a kind of peek at the data that's collected from it. This is from Tropical Tidbits from one of our own, Levi Cohen, who's upstairs. You can see on the left the flight path.
Yeah, and they always have a certain type of path where they try to make multiple passes through the center of the circulation, try to go from all different directions to get an idea of like the winds in that core of the system.
Yeah.
Usually like an X and a rectangle around that X.
Right. I mean, it's hard to get those data points in because you don't usually have observations at that. So this is a little bit of an insight and helps with those improved forecasts that you guys have been talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
And to talk about the forecast a bit, Michael, you've got the cone up right now.
Yeah, and thanks to the hurricane hunters, they were able to find that center of circulation, understand the steering currents around Tropical Depression 9, and so we've been able to get a better handle on the track of Tropical Depression 9 over the last day or so. Before we had it going possibly into the Gulf, some of the models had it like that, then some of it had it into Florida, but now the entire cone of uncertainty is now off the coast of Florida and off the entire eastern coastline. Now, it is expected to strengthen with those warmer waters in the southwest Atlantic and also very light shear in the environment. It's going to intensify into a Category 1 hurricane as we head in towards Monday morning into the afternoon hours. And it might actually impact Bermuda. You can see that tiny island right there. That is Bermuda. So Bermuda might get some impacts from what will become Humberto as we head into the early part of the week. But our temperatures across the state of Florida right now, you can see we do have some rain cool location across the peninsula with temperatures in the middle 80s, 84 in Gainesville, 85 in Orlando. It's been drier across the panhandle today, so temperatures are a little bit warmer in the low to mid 90s, 90 in Pensacola and 91 in Tallahassee. The reason why it's also warmer across the panhandle, the air is a little bit drier, so that can heat up a little bit quicker. The dew points are slightly lower in the upper 60s. Meanwhile, down towards the peninsula, those dew points are higher with those easterly and southeasterly winds. So those dew points, again, are in the low to mid 70s, a little bit more humid, and the air feels a little bit juicy and milky outside. Now, your heat indices are a little higher because of those higher dew points and milky air, in a sense, with the temperature, with the heat indices in the mid to upper 90s down towards the Florida Peninsula. Your heat indices are closer to your temperatures out towards the panhandle because of that drier air. Now, the reason why that moisture is increasing across the peninsula and panhandle is we get those easterly winds. They've been northerly in the early part of the week, but now they've shifted as that ridge moves up towards the north, and we had those easterly winds, and they're kind of breezy. Look at Orlando and West Palm Beach in the 20-mile-per-hour range, 21 at West Palm Beach and 23 in Orlando. But for the next 24 hours, most of the shower and thunderstorm activity associated with what will eventually become Humberto is going to stay offshore. You're going to have those outer bands of the system impacting central and southern Florida. So as a result, the more cloud cover and the higher rain coverage will allow those temperatures to be a little cooler. But the north flow in the panhandle of Florida will allow those temperatures to really rise. And we now have a drier forecast for the weekend up towards Pensacola and Tallahassee. So let's take a quick look at tomorrow's forecast. And you can see that cooler conditions with that more cloud cover and rain in the peninsula, while the panhandle is drier. And so therefore it's going to be hotter with temperatures in the mid-90s. Let's send off to Dylan with the look at sports.
Thank you very much. Well, we're going to take a local look, and it's so hot outside, it can basically turn your milk into cheese. It's that hot, 91 degrees. We do have a nice breeze to cool things off just a bit, but continuing this trend of hot conditions. We've only got a couple more days left of summer, but when we get into fall, we're not really going to see much of a change in terms of our temperature. You do see some rain-cooled areas where they had some stronger storms move through already into Perry and Valdosta, even into St. Mark, seeing a little bit of an effect of the ocean. Here in Tallahassee, warm, and the farther you go west, you see those darker oranges and reds, indicating a bit of a warmer temperature. So we do see those winds out of the east. We're seeing that ridge, or high pressure as we call it, kind of creating this clockwise rotation. And so it's kind of north of us, and that's why we're seeing these easterly winds coming out of the east. That's really going to dominate us for now, but we'll see a bit of a pattern change as we get this Tropical Depression 9 or tropical storm as it starts to move up the coast, bring a little bit of impacts, but there's still uncertainty in that forecast. Our dew points, though, higher on the coast, though the winds are coming out of the east or north sometimes, you do have the ocean kind of impacting it. They're closer to water, so you're going to see some higher dew points, some more moisture. Here in Tallahassee, not feeling too bad. 67 is a pretty comfortable dew point for this time of year. Farther you go inland, still a little more comfortable for those folks. And for your muggy meter, it still can feel bad. It's still hot outside, so the muggy meter is still making it feel a bit warm. And then as we look at the satellite radar, you see some clouds and showers move off the coast. Still some possible for Cross City, but the farther west you go and the farther more inland, you're really not seeing the shower activity. Right now, it's still possible to fire up, but again, only a spotty shower. And Sunday, our away game, football game against Virginia, ranked 25. We're seeing cloudy conditions throughout that, no rain chance, 77, nice, comfortable, no dehydration problems to worry about for this game. So nice, cool conditions. We have Sunday, though, here in at Villanova, seeing 79 degrees at their kickoff of one FSU women's soccer taking on Villanova in North Carolina. So another great game to watch. Our soccer team's been doing pretty well. Tonight, though, dropping down to 72 degrees. Possibility of fog in the morning. We got a lot of moisture stuck in here from these the moisture that's just been flowing in. So we do have the possibility of fog as we get into tomorrow morning. Only a 6-mile-per-hour wind breeze. And then for the week ahead, you see those rain chances kind of pick up just a bit as we get into tomorrow. These are still uncertain with that cone of uncertainty for Tropical Depression 9. Things are possible to change at any moment. So stay up to date with your current information on that. But as of now, we're not going to see a lot of impact. We're going to see it stay off the shore. Leaving a bit of cooler conditions, though, some rain and some showers are possible to make its way all the way over here. But as of now, seeing only a 30 and 40% chance of rain on Saturday and Sunday. As we get into the week, back to those normal conditions of high temperatures, a little bit of rain chance, and some not so cool lows. But now to talk more about what we're going to kind of feel, close out the show, we got Tyler and Evan.
What's my name exactly doing? It's all good. All right, so for final desk segment, we got today in weather history, which is really the opposite of what our conditions are going to be for the future. So no worry about our conditions for the future, but what happened today in history is Hurricane Humberto hit in 2007 as a Category 1 hurricane. And then on the same day, Hurricane Ike the next year in 2008 struck pretty much the same spot in Houston.
Yeah, Hurricane Humberto had some damage, but really Ike did a lot more damage for Texas. Even before then, wreaked some havoc in Cuba and Leeward Islands as a Category 4 hurricane. Hit the Keys as a tropical storm, then strengthened again to hit Texas as a Category 4 hurricane. I know my grandparents actually lived in the Houston area at the time when that hit, so that caused a lot of damage for the area.
I bet. And honestly, they're coming off of, as well, Hurricane Dolly, Tropical Storm Eduardo, and Hurricane Gustav all hit in the 2008 area near around Texas. I bet those grocery stores are really out of milk, out of like water and essential like supplies that day. It must have been absolutely a havoc to have to prepare for that many hurricanes that year.
Absolutely. Really just 4 different storms hitting the same area in one season. I know we've had some close calls in Florida for this hurricane season, but we haven't seen anything like that. And actually, Hurricane Ike was the 6th costliest storm in U.S. history and 2nd in Cuban history. Also, 214 fatalities resulted from it, over $38 billion in damages. There's a lot of damage from Hurricane Ike.
A lot of damage. It's really one of the turn-of-the-century storms, honestly, besides Katrina. In between, really, Katrina and Harvey, it's really Ike that's really stood out to much of the damage in the Texas area specifically.
But luckily, we don't have to worry about that for us here. Looking at the week ahead, rain chances starting to pick up a little bit, but as we see Tropical Depression 9 probably not going to impact Tallahassee very much, so we're going to keep those rain chances fairly low. Sunday, 40% chance of rain, but for the rest of the week, just going to see some scattered rain chances at best, 20 to 30%.
Pop-up shower. Just have a little umbrella handy, really, at any time. You know those sea breezes can catch us off guard at any point sometimes.
Absolutely. So follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU Weather.
All right, and watch us live on YouTube right now. You can go to www.youtube.com/FSU Weather.
And also follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather. If you have any cool weather pictures that you want to send us, absolutely do that. We'd love to show them on our page.
I love a good sunny day, honestly, like it's been any time during the past week. But as for me, I'm student meteorologist Evan Thompson.
And I'm student meteorologist Tyler Sherrod. Have a great evening, everyone.